Okay, we are live with the Wheel of Shakespeare Acting Challenge. Previously, the Shakespeare Monologue Challenge, and last week we decided to work in two people scenes, and we got three: myself, Elizabeth, and Bill, who are regulars, and at least again, I believe it was Elizabeth who brought in our new participant, Paul. Glad to have you with us today, Paul. There was quite a few people that emailed me, said that Elizabeth invited them to join. So I think that's great that we're expanding. And it was actually some of the people that Elizabeth invited that referred to it by this new name that I think probably makes more sense. We're not limited to monologues. I kind of like that Wheel of Shakespeare. I think that until we get a better suggestion, I think that's probably a good name for this. Anyway, let's before we get started, let's have our new member say a few words, introduce himself, and we'll go from there.
Well, I'm an actor in San Diego, and just north of San Diego, Carlsbad, and I've been in some other Shakespeare groups with Elizabeth, and I'm so glad she turned me on to you. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I think the upside of the quarantine is that we're finding all these groups and we are able to be Shakespeare geeks remotely together. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, it has been an opportunity. A lot of use of Zoom for virtual performances. I participated in a couple myself, and those are a lot of fun. And this is what I kind of came up with on my own. Well, not entirely on my own, just doing my other weekly live streams. Friend of actually, I don't know if he's watching. I'd love to see it in the comments. My friend Vic Viscara, who was in A Few Good Men with me at the Whittier Community Theater a couple years back, he joined the live stream and said, I want to see you perform some Shakespeare. And he just called something out randomly, and then I thought of that, and then I put that together with what some people who were doing for their live streams, where they would use this wheel to spin names of people that would get called on for something different that their YouTube channel that was completely different was doing. And I thought, hey, why don't we put that together? You're called on randomly to perform something that you haven't had a chance to rehearse. How well do you know Shakespeare that you can just jump right into it, and I'll use the wheel with it. So I thought that would be, and so we've been doing it for about 5 or 6 weeks, and we've had a lot of fun with it so far, and it's getting better all the time. The fact that we're expanding our crowd. Thank you, Elizabeth, for bringing our new participant in. Paul, thank you for joining us. We hope you have fun today, and we'll come back in the future. So unless anybody else has anything to say, I'll go ahead and switch the view to the wheel. We got our 4 names on it. So the first one we will spin we'll spin the wheel to see who goes first. So. What do you know? the new person is the one that has to go first. If you feel uncomfortable as the new person being called, I can excuse you from it, or you can just go with the wheel.
Let's have a go with it.
Okay. So, Paul, did you want to stick to the male wheel, or do you want to do the gender neutral wheel, where it could be anything?
I'll let you decide, Mark.
Okay. Then if you don't have a preference, I'll just do the wheel where it could be anything, because people do so often do gender bending casting with Shakespeare.
Okay.
And also that was actually another how it developed over time. The idea is that I was originally just saying a male wheel and a female wheel, and some women who had a good point about there aren't as many good parts for women. They said, I want to see a gender neutral wheel. So I incorporated that. So I put them together. So, okay, we'll spin that one, and it could be anything for Paul. So ready? Can we see okay, yeah. Spinning for Paul. Oh, very good one to start with. Tomorrow and tomorrow. And what I do is I put, so Act 5, and if you're new to us, my suggestion was, you can give your, I use, there's an app, the Shakespeare app, where it's got his complete work, so you can just look anything up, and that way I just have my phone up if you need to refer to, if you don't know them by heart. I mean, this is one that this is one that I could perform without looking at the script, but not everyone's that way. So
I think I have it here.
So yeah, I tell you the act, the scene number, and so and we'll go ahead and we'll switch. I'll remove everybody else from the stream so that the person performing is front and center. And unfortunately, that means that you can't I can't comment. I wish I could find a way that I could have the audio turned on but the video off, because if you have a question, but if you have a question and I have to come back on to answer it, I'll put myself. But otherwise, I'm going to take everyone but you off the screen.
Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Okay, good job. So we'll go back to the wheel now. I'll switch it to the wheel with the participants' names. So Paul is gone, so we'll remove him from it. So just the three of us remaining. Here we go. Okay, so Elizabeth is next. You want the female wheel or gender neutral?
Gender neutral, please.
Okay. Okay, and away we go. Oops. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Oh, right, Portia, Quality of Mercy. Great one. So whenever you're ready, I'll remove.
Okay. Okay. Can you see me? Okay. The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed. It blesseth him that gives and him that takes. It is mightiest in the mightiest. It becomes the throned monarch better than his crown. His scepter shows the force of temporal power, the attribute to awe and majesty, wherein doth sit the dread and fear of kings. But mercy is above this sceptred sway. It is enthroned in the hearts of kings. It is an attribute to God himself, and earthly power doth then show likest gods when mercy seasons justice. Therefore, Jew, though justice be thy plea, consider this, that in the course of justice, none of us shall see salvation, we do pray for mercy. And that same prayer doth teach us all to render the deeds of mercy. I have spoke thus much to mitigate the justice of thy plea, which if thou follow, this strict court of Venice must needs give sentence against the merchant there. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. So we'll switch back to the view. It's just myself and Bill who haven't gone yet. We'll spin for the two of us. Right on the line. So it's me. Okay, and looks like everybody else. Everybody else is sticking with gender neutral for now, so I might as well follow the pattern. And away we go. Oh, blow wins. Bill did this one last Saturday, so I get to do this one too. Awesome. So give me a second to. Blow, wind, and crack your cheeks. Rage, blow, you cataracts and hurricanes. Sprout till you have drenched our steeples. Drown the cocks, you sulphurous and thought-executing fires. Vaunt couriers of oak-cleaving thunderbolts. Singe my white beard, and thou, all shaking thunder, strike flat that thick rotundity of the world. Crack nature's molds, all germains spill at once that make ingrateful man. Rumble thy bellyful, spirit fire, sprout rain. Nor rain, wind, thunder, fire are my daughters. I tax you not, you elements, with unkindness. I never gave you kingdom, called you children. Owe me no subscription. Then let fall your horrible pleasure. Here I stand, your slave, a poor, infirm, weak, and despised old man. But yet I call you servile ministers that will with two pernicious daughters join your high-engendered battles against heads so old and wide as this. Ho, ho, 'tis foul! Okay, so that leaves Bill. Bill, you're going to stick with what the three of us have been doing, or do you want just the male?
Okay, I'll play along. Yeah, but I've got a question. Is the audio breaking up for everybody else?
Oh, might be since I got the yelling monologue. The yelling might have.
No, everyone, Paul and Elizabeth and you, Mark. The audio has been breaking up for me. I'm wondering if it's on my side.
Yeah, I hadn't heard it from Paul or Elizabeth, but I don't know if it broke up on mine because I was so loud.
No, everybody sounds good through me.
Okay.
So
right.
Anyway, spinning for Bill now. Okay, so Bill's got Miranda. Alas, now pray you work not so hard.
3-1. Okay.
Yeah, Act 3 scene.
3-1. Oh, it's short, and Ferdinand interrupts her. So, what do I do? Just ignore what Ferdinand says?
My suggestion is to just kind of skip like the one I just did. You know, the fool interrupted.
Right.
I
just remember that from Wednesday.
Next part of it.
Yeah, I'll just skip what Ferdinand says. Alas, now pray you, work not so hard. I would the lightning had burnt up those logs that you are enjoined to pile. Pray, set it down and rest you. When this burns, 'twill weep for having wearied you. My father is hard at study. Pray now, rest yourself. He's safe for these 3 hours. If you'll sit down, I'll bear your logs the while. Pray, give me that. I'll carry it to the pile. It will become me as well as it does you, and I should do it with much more ease, for my goodwill is to do it, and yours it is against. Okay, I suppose that's as far as it should go, right? What do you think?
Okay, so we'll switch now to the two-person scenes, and I think with 4 people, it's we'll randomly spin for the 2 people who will then go together, and then after they go, the remaining 2 people will be partners in the next scene. So let's see, got to put the wheel back in vision. And so the first scene will be performed by Paul. Well, no, not by. Will be performed by. Yes, I. So what we do is we'll remove Paul from the wheel, so that from the Paul and. So Paul and Bill will go, and then myself and Elizabeth will go in the second one. So
Okay.
Bring up the scene for 2 males. So Paul and Bill will perform. Oh, we better spin again. That's the same one that myself and Bill did last week.
So, is it? Yeah, right.
Yeah, you and I, that was fun doing that one. But so Coriolanus and Ophidius.
Oh, I'm a little suspicious of this one.
So, and that's it. We, I think we better. Well, if some and when we'll say with the 2 we got 2 males, we can. So Act 4, Scene 5. If either of the 2 of you have a preference for which role you want to be, call it. And if you both prefer the same one, we'll spin.
I have no preference. Paul.
Okay. So
what was the scene number?
Act 4, Coriolanus, Act 4, Scene 5.
Okay.
4, Scene 5.
So it starts with servants, I think, before they admit. It's also good to check. I'm checking it out too, because it might be like mostly those 2 people, but a servant might have a line here or there, and I can be on hand to feed the cue if there's like a servant who says one line or something.
Well, it looks like the conversation begins with Ophidius saying, "What is thy name?" That looks like a good place to start.
Okay, let's see. Okay, yeah, that seems to be a good place to start.
What is thy name?
Yeah.
No.
So do the two of you have a preference for who's what role? Phidias, Coriolanus?
I have no preference.
I have no.
Okay, so I'll just
no.
randomly pick. So Bill, you be Phidias, and Paul, you be Coriolanus.
Okay.
So
You ready, Paul?
let me remove myself and Elizabeth, so it's just the two of them on screen. And whenever you're ready, take it away.
Okay. What is thy name?
A name unmusical to Volscian ears and harsh in sound to thine.
Say, what's thy name? Thou hast a grim appearance, and thy face bears a commandant. Though thy tackle's torn, thou show'st a noble vessel. What's thy name?
Prepare thy brow to frown. Knowest thou me yet?
I know thee not. Thy name.
My name is Caius Martius, who hath done to thee particularly and to all the Volscians great hurt and mischief. Thereto witness may my surname, Coriolanus, the painful service, the extreme danger, and the drops of blood shed for my thankless country are requited, but with that surname a good memory and witness of the malice and displeasure which thou shouldst bear me. Only that name remains, the cruelty and envy of the people, permitted by our dastard nobles, who have all forsook me, hath devoured the rest, and suffered me by the voice of slaves to be whooped out of Rome. Now this extremity hath brought me to thy hearth, not out of hope, mistake me not, to save my life, for if I had feared it, of all the men in the world I would have voided thee, but in mere spite, to be full quit of those my banishers, stand I before thee here. Then, if thou hast a heart of wreck in thee, that wilt revenge thine own particular wrongs and stop those maims of shame seen through thy country, speed thee straight and make my misery serve thy turn. So use it that my revengeful services may prove as benefits to thee. For I will fight against my cankered country with the spleen of all the under fiends. But if so be thou darest not this, and that to prove more fortunes thou'rt tired, then in a word I also am longer to live most weary, and present my throat to thee and to thy ancient malice, which not to cut would show thee but a fool, since I have ever followed thee with hate, drawn tons of blood out of thy country's breast, and cannot live but to thy shame, unless it be to do thee service.
Oh, Marcius, Marcius, each word thou hast spoke hath weeded from my heart a root of ancient envy. If Jupiter should from yon cloud speak divine things and say, 'tis true, I'll not believe them more than thee, O noble Marcius. Let me twine my arms about that body where against my grain in ash 100 times hath broken, scarred the moon with splinters. Here I clip the anvil of my sword and do contest as hotly and as nobly with thy love as ever in ambitious strength I did contend against thy valor. Know thou first, I love the maid I married. Never man sighed truer breath, but that I see thee here, thou noble thing, more dances my rapt heart than when I first my wedded mistress saw bestride my threshold. Why, thou Mars, I tell thee, we have a power on foot, and I had purpose once more to hew thy target from thy brawn or lose mine own armed fort. Thou hast beat me out 12 several times, and I have nightly since dreamt of encounters twixt thyself and me. We have been down together in my sleep, unbuckling helms, fisting each other's throat, and waked half dead with nothing. Worthy Marcius, had we no quarrel else in Rome, but that thou art thence banished, we would muster all from 12 to 70, and pouring war into the bowels of ungrateful Rome like a bold flood o'erbear. Oh, come, go in and take our friendly senators by the hands, who now are here taking their leaves of me, who am prepared against your territories, though not for Rome itself.
You bless me, gods.
Therefore, most absolute sir, if thou wilt have the leading of thine own revenges, take the one half of my commission and set down as best thou art experienced, since thou knowest the country's strength and weakness, thine own ways, whether to knock against the gates of Rome or rudely visit them in parts remote, to fright them ere destroy them. But come in, let me commend thee first to those that shall say yea to thy desires. 1,000 welcomes, and more a friend than e'er an enemy. Yet, Marcius, that was much. Your hand, most welcome.
Okay, good job, you guys. So, just a quick digression. The three of you've seen the recent, like 5 or 6 years ago, Ray Fiennes did a modern version of Coriolanus. I thought that was interesting. I don't know what you got, if any of you saw it or what you thought of it. Thought that was. I
knew of it, but I didn't. I haven't seen it. I knew of the production, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, I usually don't like it when they try to set Shakespeare in modern settings and so forth, but I think this one worked. You know, a modern fascist state and so forth to resemble Roman Empire. So if you have to do a modern setting, it's interesting. It's so revealing about as a historian, so revealing about the nature of the Roman Empire that. Stuff that's set in Rome can so easily be reset in a modern day fascist society. What the best comparison is of what their government was like. But anyway, so that leaves myself and Elizabeth to do and I got the male female wheel for the two of us, and away we go.
Oh, as you like it.
Orlando and Rosalind. So let's
okay.
That one. Let's go ahead and Act 3, Scene 2, I believe.
So a lot of people speak in this scene.
Yeah, let's. So I'm scrolling down to where a good place to start would be.
I just worked on the scene with my students. Interesting. Okay, so what about do you hear Forrester after Jaques exits?
Hold on. Okay, so about halfway into the scenes where Orlando enters with Jaques.
And then after Jaques exits, this is the scene between Rosalind and Orlando.
Okay, let's see. And are there any? Is it at that point? It's just the two of them on stage, correct?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Celia's there, but she doesn't say anything.
Okay, because just checking if she has a line, we might have to have somebody the third person in the stream to feed us the cue, or we can just ignore it. But
yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense. So we'll start with I will speak to him like a sauce.
I'll just start with do you hear Forrester? Is that good?
Actually, oh, I see. Yeah, that's good. So let's put just the two of us on screen. Okay, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Do you hear, Forrester?
Very well. What would you?
I pray you, what is the clock?
You should ask me what time of day. There's no clock in the forest.
Then there is no true lover in the forest, else sighing every minute and groaning every hour would detect the lazy foot of time as well as a clock.
And why not the swift foot of time? Had not that been as proper?
By no means, sir. Time travels in diverse paces with diverse persons. I'll tell you who time ambles withal, who time trots withal, who time gallops withal, and who he stands still withal.
I prithee, who doth he trot withal?
Marry, he trots hard with a young maid between the contract of her marriage and the day it is solemnized. If the interim be but a seven-night, time's pace is so hard that it seems the length of 7 year.
Who ambles time withal?
With a priest that lacks Latin, and a rich man that hath not the gout. For the one sleeps easily because he cannot study, and the other lives merrily because he feels no pain. The one lacking the burden of lean and wasteful learning, the other knowing no burden of heavy tedious penury. These time ambles withal.
Who doth he gallop withal?
With a thief to the gallows, for though he go as softly as foot can fall, he thinks himself too soon there.
Who says it still withal?
With lawyers in the vacation, for they sleep between term and term, and then they perceive not how time moves.
Where dwell you, pretty youth?
With this shepherdess, my sister, here in the skirts of the forest, like fringe upon a petticoat.
Are you native of this place?
As the coney that you see dwell where she is kindled.
Your accent is something finer than you could purchase in so removed a dwelling.
I have been told so of many, but indeed an old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak, who was in his youth an inland man, one that knew courtship too well, for there he fell in love. I have heard him read many lectures against it, and I thank God I am not a woman, to be touched with so many giddy offences as he hath generally taxed their whole sex withal.
Can you remember any of the principal evils that he laid to the charge of women?
They were none principal, they were all like one another, as halfpence are, every one fault seeming monstrous, till his fellow fault came to match it.
I prithee, recount some of them.
Oh, no, I will not cast away my physic, but on those who are sick. There is a man haunts the forest that abuses our young trees with carving Rosalind on their barks, hangs odes upon hawthorns and elegies on brambles, all forsooth deifying the name of Rosalind. If I could meet that fancy monger, I would give him some good counsel, for he seems to have the quotidian of love upon him.
I am he that is so love-shaked. I pray you, tell me your remedy.
There is none of my uncle's marks upon you. He taught me how to know a man in love, in which cage of rushes I am sure you are not prisoner.
What were his marks?
A lean cheek, which you have not, a blue eye and sunken, which you have not, an unquestionable spirit, which you have not, a beard neglected, which you have not. But I pardon you for that, for your simply not having a beard is a younger brother's revenue. That your hose should be unguarded, your bonnet unbanded, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation, but you are no such man. You are rather point device in your accoutrement as loving yourself than seeming the lover of any other.
Fair youth, I would I could make thee believe I love.
Me believe it? You may as soon make her that you love believe it, which I warrant she is apter to do than to confess that she does. This is one of the points in which women still give the lie to their consciences. But in good sooth, are you he that hangs the verse on the trees, wherein Rosalind is so admired?
I swear to thee, youth, by the white hand of Rosalind, I am that he. That unfortunate he.
But are you so much in love as your rhymes speak?
Neither rhyme nor reason can express your rhymes.
Love is merely a madness, and I tell you, deserves as well a dark house and a whip as madmen do. And the reason why they are not so punished and cured is that the lunacy is so ordinary that the whippers are in love too. Yet I profess curing it by counsel.
Did you ever cure any so?
Yes, one, and in this manner. He was to imagine me, his love, his mistress, and I set him every day to woo me, at which time would I, being but a moonish youth, grieve, be effeminate, changeable, longing and liking, proud, fantastical, apish, shallow, inconstant, full of tears, full of smiles, for every passion something, and for no passion truly anything, as boys and women are for the most part cattle of this color, would now like him, now loathe him, then entertain him, then forswear him, now weep for him, then spit at him, that I drave my suitor from his mad humor of love to a living humor of madness, which was to forswear the full stream of the world and to live in a nook merely monastic. And thus I cured him. And this way will I take upon me to wash your liver as clean as a sound sheep's heart, that there shall not be one spot of love in it.
I would not be cured, youth.
I would cure you if you would but call me Rosalind and come every day to my cote and woo me.
Now, by the faith of my love, I will.
Yes.
Tell me where it is.
Go with me to it, and I'll show it to you. And by the way, you should tell me where in the forest you live. Will you go?
With all my heart, good youth.
Nay, you must call me Rosalind. Come, sister, will you go?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah, so different. The young lover, so different from how I usually cast and feel comfortable. So that was quite a stretch for me. Even it's not just the gender bending thing. Even within your own gender, you can be cast so against type in this. And again, that's part of the game, the randomness of it, the wheel determining what you play, even if it's something that's totally not your type.
That's one of the things I love about this, because I have coached and directed and taught kids that scene, but I have never said those words out loud myself. So it really helps me become a better teacher, and I have a lot more sympathy for my kids now.
Of course. So, hey, this was a lot of fun. We're having a new participant this time, and we encourage you, to tell more people about it. Share it with your friends. That when after it takes time to process, but this will become a video on YouTube. Even for I think 2 or 3 people are watching us live, and but they can always watch it later. Encourage you to share it so more people will see it. More people might watch us live next week, and so on. And to everybody else watching out there, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you'll tune in next week. Subscribe to my channel for more. Bill, I've already put the link. You have a YouTube channel. Also, the other 2 people, if you have a YouTube channel as well, I can put that in the description and encourage people to subscribe. Subscribe to all the participants on YouTube or wherever their social media presence is. If you can email me that privately, and I can include that in the description. Encouraging as we sign off and closing, to encourage everybody to tune in next week to follow all of us and keep in touch. And unless anybody else has anything to add, I'll see everybody next Saturday. This was we'll do it again.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye now.
Bye.
Bye.